The following is a special presentation of the First Horizon Green Sports Zone. This is the Gary's Paint and Body Shop Stephen Gregg Show. Welcome back to First Horizon's Green Sports Zone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Gary's Paint and Body Shop Stephen Gregg Show, where we cover everything on the court with the South Greene Lady Rebels basketball team. We'll recap this past week's District 1 2A tournament with a win over Chucky Doak and then a loss to Unicoi County in the championship game, and we'll look forward to this week's Region 1 2A tournament. But first, as always, we need to go ahead and get a few breaks in from our loyal sponsors. So we'll be right back after these messages here on First Horizon's Green Sports Zone. The Gary's Paint and Body Shop Stephen Gregg Show is brought to you by Gateway Ford Nissan, Tommy's Plumbing, Gary's Paint and Body Shop, and by First Horizon Bank. Welcome back to First Horizon's Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Gary's Paint and Body Shop Stephen Gregg Show, where we cover everything on the hardwood with the South Greene Lady Rebels basketball team. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Stephen Gregg. Coach, how's it going this week?
Going good. How's Tyler?
I'm doing well. Finished up with the district tournament. Moving into regions now. How are we feeling at the moment?
Tired.
Tired, I'd say so.
Exhausted. Anxious, nervous, all kinds of emotions at once.
Got a phone ringing somewhere over here.
Yeah, I was trying to say there's something going off over here. Always a distraction.
But let's talk about the district tournament a little bit. Being that one seed in the tournament, you get a first round bye, so you don't have a satellite game. You go right into West Ridge, where on Saturday you hosted fifth seeded Chucky Doak, who knocked off the 4 seed West Greene in that first game. And you battle with them early, but end up pulling away later, and you get a win over Chucky Doak to advance to the championship game. Talk about Saturday and how important it was to get that win in such an early game at a noon start time.
Yeah, it was crucial to get that one out of the way. We had just played Chucky Doak, I think, like 5 days earlier. It was our last game that we had.
Yeah, I think 8 days.
Yeah, and we really came out poised. That first quarter, I think it was 11-13 going off memory. It was pretty close. But at the end of the second quarter, we survived a little wave there and made a really strong push in the second quarter that gave us the separation. And we also survived that little rush there with Courtney going to the bench early in foul trouble. And it's been sort of something that we've dealt with all year, people being plagued with fouls and having to sit. But I think we doubled them up. We're up like 31-15 or 16 at half. And we came out and worked the ball around, was very patient. We ended quarters with one shot and really looked like we were headed in the right direction. And we've been playing much better ball here at the end of the season. So getting that one behind us, getting on that floor, being familiar. It's the first game that I've ever coached in that gym. So it's a nice facility. And Chucky Doak was a team that was riding some momentum. You know, they played us to 5 the last time we played them. And then they had knocked off West Greene, and they were riding the high. And, you know, actually they had a good showing in the tournament as well there. So Chucky Doak starting to play better at the end of the year as well. So you like to see, you know, the county teams do well and not try to badger one another and pull against each other. So
let's go into that championship game too with Unicoi County, because boy was it a game. Talk to me about it.
It was an atypical game. It was a low-scoring affair. We came out red hot. I think we're up 12-5 and getting ready to blow the lid off of it. And look up, Ari, Hosey, and Courtney Bailey. 2 fouls, have to sit the whole second quarter. And we were able to sustain another wave there. That was huge for us to go in, be up 1 point at half. We kept saying, you know, we're going to have to get one of those girls put back in there just to get some continuity or better chemistry out there on the court. And I think I put Ari in there with maybe 3 minutes to go. So she sat for a long time. Courtney didn't even get in the second quarter. So that was odd. because the last time those two played, they had 45 points together. And so you're trying to combat defense and offense and game plan and scheme a really good Unicoi team. So I felt like we had a really good shot that we would come out energized in the second half. And we did enough to increase that lead to 2 points going into the fourth. And then it kind of all went downhill at some point halfway through in the fourth quarter. But how you play the game early is just as important as you play late. And we had actually built a 7-point lead on a good and strong finish at the bucket by Courtney. And I called a timeout to tell the team, hey, if we get up 8 right here, I feel like we can pull them out and get them out of their zone, get them out of their comfort zone. And I think she might have rattled the free throw out, and we're up 7. And come down, and just from that point on, everything just kind of changed a little bit. Seemed like that possession, they shot, missed, and shot, rebound, kick out, 3. And it was just an untimely situation, you know. We're right there around the ball and we can't get it. And it ends up always, when you give a team second and third chances, they're gonna make it count.
One of them's gonna go in.
And that was something that happened in that run. And so we're out, we bring it down, we spread them out, we're trying to milk a little bit. I think we took about 45 seconds off the clock. And I had watched Courtney kind of stand down in the corner, so I brought her up to get involved in the offense. And I brought her up, and they broke on a pass and knocked it out, went and shot a layup. So now what was once a 7-point lead kind of trimmed down to 2 or 3 at this point. And now we got to try to get back in the schema, trying to go score. And the girls started getting tight and nervous. And so then, you know, we're trying to pull them out so we can go do some backdoor cuts and boost our lead from 7 to possibly double digits. 2, we became careless with the ball. We got nervous, and nobody really wanted to try to go score. It's almost like prevent defense, you know, to stop people from moving down the field and scoring, but you're letting them take big chunks of yardage at once. And that's sort of how this is. We became passive and non-assertive, and it's almost playing not to lose instead of playing to win. And, you know, if you know me and my coaching style, I'll do that 95% of the time. You know, if I feel like we could have got Unicoi out in a man, we could have really turned the game around. And we didn't. You know, they got up there and extended their zone and got in passing lanes, and we tried making skip passes that weren't there, and 1 turnover turned into 2, and 2 turned into 3, and it was just sort of like a snowball effect. And then they finally tied up on the foul line, and then another turnover by us. They go down, and Courtney picks up her 5th foul on film. Was a moving screen, but in the course of a game, Courtney's trying to chase her girl through, and then there's a collision. So it's one of those bang bang plays. Well, she has to leave the game. Now we're down 2, and no, I think we're down 1 at this point. I think she only hit one of the 2. So we're down 1, and we butt the ball and turnover, and we have to foul, and then we foul, and then emotions got high, and it led to a technical foul. Now they're shooting 4, but then they get the ball back, so we got to foul again. So that one of the last possessions, they shot 6 free throws before we even touched the ball, and they made 4 of the 6. So we go from possibly down. We were down 1 at the time, and the girl went 1 for 2. So we could have been down 2 with the ball, possibly try to hold it for the last shot or go to overtime. So instead, we're down 1, and it ends up being down 5, and that just it was just untimely. Didn't have enough time to surmount enough possessions to come back, but I'm super proud of the girls' effort. We held a really good Unicoi team to 41 points. And end of the year, that's pretty good when you're holding a team to 40 points. You win a large amount of those ball games.
Yeah.
So a lot of things that happened, we can learn from, and we just, I guess the positive from all this is we still get to play one more time in our home gym. We get to play in front of our crowd on our court one more time and continue to get our, I guess, chemistry back up and be excited, be amped up to play, because, at this point there's the field keeps getting cut in half after each round. So I didn't really have anything to say to the girls after a very tough loss. So I just kind of let everything process until the next day, and then we had a really good team meeting. And sometimes you can say things that come out the wrong way, or when you act on your emotions, people misinterpret things. And so I didn't want to hamper any kind of relationship with my players and say something that I would regret or that they would take the wrong way. So we've handled this as an instructional tool, and we're moving forward. The girls seem to be very positive. Had a good practice yesterday, and that's what you wonder at this point in the game is, gosh, we just lost a big one. Is this was that it? Was that our one chance? And I don't think that about this group. We've got a group of hungry seniors, and just made our road a little tougher to hoe, though. And you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket and say if we won that game, we avoid the number 1 team in the state. But this team, as long as I've known them, never does anything easy. So with that said, if we get past Cumberland Gap first round on Monday, we've got to go to possibly Gatlinburg to play a really good number 1 Gatlinburg Pittman in the state, or maybe Chaycadoke knocks them off, and then we get to play Chaycadoke again. But we know our road's really a lot harder than it could have been, and that's completely on us, and we own that. And sometimes our emotions get the best of us, and it's what I tell the girls. I acted away up at Johnson County one night, and end of the day I was fighting for my girls, but I went about it the wrong way, and I let my emotions get the best of me toward an official, and that's something I got to live with. And I processed that, and I've tried to apologize as much as I can, because if you really know who I am, that's not how I come across. I mean, I'm a veteran coach, and this shows we're all human, and something that's been weighing on my heart very heavily, because it's almost sort of been like a personal attack on me. People have tried to get that film and send that to TSAA. And it should be people that have been around me to know that that's not my nature too. And that's something I've had to deal with this week. And the backlash is reprimands from TSAA, which we handled it all here at South Greene. And I've owned my actions, and I just felt like, I owed my team an apology. But like I said, at the end of the day, I was fighting for my girls. And we're human, emotions happen. I just hate that some people just like to stir drama up and try to get people in trouble when it's none of their business, truthfully. So I just felt like I needed to say that. So that's my public apology, and if that hits home to you, it hits home to you.
Luckily, you and the girls still have a chance to continue fighting. On to the Region 1 2A tournament now. You spoke about it being in that same pod with Gatlinburg, Pittman, and Chucky Doak now. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. We'll go through the whole bracket. We'll talk about the pod, the possible matchups, and everything like that. But, of course, we need to get a few messages on the screen first, so we'll pay respect to these loyal sponsors for paying us, and we'll see you in just a minute here on First Horizons Green Sports Zone.
For over 30 years, Tommy's Plumbing has proudly served the Tri-Cities with a personal touch because we're not just plumbers, we're family. From simple faucet repairs to full plumbing repiping, we have the experience and expertise to get the job done right. We also specialize in water heater and tankless water heater installations, helping you find the perfect solution for your home. Our technicians stand behind their work and always leave your space clean and spotless. Looking for a plumber who's fast, professional, and reliable? Call Tommy's Plumbing and let our family take care of yours.
At many dealerships, you get what you'd expect: games, gimmicks, and shady sales tactics. At Gateway Nissan in Greenville, expect the unexpected: low prices, convenient service, and a great buying experience.
Get our Gateway exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty.
No worries for life.
You deserve the unexpected. It's the #1 reason you gotta get to Gateway.
Shop online at GatewayNissanGreenville.com.
Or take the super short drive down Highway 11E to Gateway Nissan in Greenville.
Welcome back to First Horizons Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Gary's Paint and Body Shop Stephen Gregg Show, where we cover everything on the court with the South Greene Lady Rebels basketball team. As always, joined here with Lady Rebels head coach Stephen Gregg. So we're on to the Region 1 2A tournament now. We got Cumberland Gap first game here at home, which is beautiful. You get to come back here at home for another game. I know you had to go on the road last year, and you're looking to get back into the region semis for the first time since, I believe, 2023. What's it going to take on Friday night when you host Cumberland Gap?
Just getting after it, playing like we were the end of last week, mixing up defenses and playing with confidence and shooting at a higher rate. The Unicoi game, we were 13 for 48. But our defense was there. That was just our starting five, 13 for 48. But, let's bring at least one side of the coin. If we ain't going to bring offense, let's bring our defense. That way, that proves you can stay in games and have opportunities. But it would be nice if we can play on both sides of the ball from here on out and value both sides a little better. So we're excited. We get to play here at Rebel Gym one more time. And, like I said, if we can get past a pretty big Cumberland Gap team and apply some pressure early and get our defense turning into offense, we're a lot better team when we're playing happy and getting the quick leads. So if we're fortunate enough to get past Cumberland Gap, then we know from here on out it's going to be all road games, and it's going to be a tough uphill battle.
And how important is it that you get that last home game? Because when you have senior night or when you have your last regular season game at home, you know that there's the small possibility you get back in your home gym, such as now you have district satellite games, you have the region quarterfinal, and you have sub-state. But those aren't guarantees. You have to earn those or they fall into your lap. And you've earned one more here against Cumberland Gap. How much will that mean to those seniors and the fans to have one more game here at home this year, one more guaranteed game?
Yeah, because a lot of our fan base can't travel, so it's good to give them another game. It's rewarding, it's satisfying, and it's exciting that our boys also get to play on Saturdays. So it'll be a good environment here in South Greene community this weekend, and good way to kick off the playoffs.
and you have Cumberland Gap in your side above you. You kind of alluded to it before. You have Gatlinburg Pittman and Chucky Doak. That's your pod right there. Of course, the winner of the Gatlinburg Pittman Chucky Doak game and the South Greene Cumberland Gap game play each other. But you're at the point now in the region quarterfinals where it's win or go home. So losers eliminated, no consolation in that one. And then up above you in the other pod, you've got Unicoi County hosting Claiborne, and then Pigeon Forge hosting Johnson County. So that's a run through the Region 1 2A tournament bracket. And I didn't ask Coach Hosey. He's my first coach's show this week, but I'll ask you same question as last week. What's your excitement level going into regions now?
It's always amped up. It hits coaches hard. It hits a coach harder, I think, than it does a player, because me being a former player, I didn't get as nervous. I was anxious. Once I got to the gym, I was okay, but as a coach, it hits you the night before, a couple nights before, depending on how much time you have. You watch a lot more film, you put a lot of study, a lot of effort into it. And at the end of the day, I'm trusting a group of teenage girls to go after a goal that I have, so, if you think of it that way.
It's a different perspective.
It is. So our fate is determined by a bunch of emotional females. But we're excited. I got a good group of girls. They're excited. The main thing from yesterday's practice was just to do a check and see where they're at. And I want this for them probably as much as they do, because they've been a great group to work with, and they've showed great improvements this year, and they get along so well. It's bittersweet to see the improvements that we made, but then knowing, if you have one more crumble, one more fall, it's over. There's only one more game that you can risk to lose from here on out, and that's that regional final. You can win two and then get to the finals, and then whatever happens, happens. You always want to play a home sub-state game, but you got to get the next two to breathe a little bit. And then if you get that one, you're guaranteed one more, and, anything happens in sub-state. So even though we are in GP's bracket, number one in the state, they've won 16 straight. They've lost 3 games all year. I mean, we've got them on the radar. Not saying anything about their personnel, anything that they could come back to us, but I've had teams there before who had the bullseye on their back, and the good thing for them though is it's going to be a packed out environment, tournament in their gym, but our girls will be ready for the challenge.
And looking at it, you've got 64 teams left. After Friday night, it'll be cut to 32. Anybody and everybody is good at this point, too. You can't take anybody lightly. But the first one at hand, Cumberland Gap, Friday, 7 o'clock here at South Greene. You win that one. You move into Monday's game at Gatlinburg Pittman at 7:30 to play the winner of Gatlinburg Pittman and Chucky Doak. So go Lady Black Knights, pull off the upset in that one. That would be nice, but if you've got the opportunity Friday night, 7 o'clock, come out and support the Lady Rebels, potentially the last home game of the year. So come out and support them as they welcome the Lady Panthers down. But you got a wrestling quote for me this week or no?
I'm kind of wrestle quoted out this week.
Okay.
I've been using them real freely, but I don't know what that'd be a big one come out if we can get to that regional final. There'll be something coming out there.
All right. Unless you've got anything else left to add, that's all I've got for you.
All right.
All right. Once again, appreciate you once again. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Gary's Paint and Body Shop Stephen Gregg Show. Look forward to seeing you next time here on First Horizons Green Sports Zone.